Hi, everybody. Jay Brightlow with Grand Welcome and Orlando host here. So I wanted to do a Q3 update. This is where we're at through 2025, about September here. So I just want to give you as much data as we have because data drives our decisions, and we hope you use this to help guide your decisions for your best returns, whether it's financial, personal, with your home. So without further ado, let me get into the PowerPoint here. And if you guys ever have any questions, just send me a text, send me an email. Email is always best for me. Okay, so here's the booking window. It's important to understand that the booking window looks like, in general, looking at a 40 to 60 day window. So about 2 months out, people start booking. So today's September 1st, right? We were looking at like November-ish for bookings, December. So we should start to see the holiday bookings come in, although they're a little bit light, and I can extrapolate on that a little bit. Um, Unfortunately, the 20% of people are booking less than 30 days. Um, and a lot of people, 14% are within a week. And those are usually your party people. So if you want to avoid the 14% that are booking within 2 to 7 days, I highly recommend that you make sure your early bird pricing is on and that you are 100% allowing discounts, especially with Airbnb. But these are the booking window stats right now. This is what I really wanted to get to. This end, I want to really cover some of the OTA changes that are big coming up. July was flat. We're basically at 0%. And this is all of the stats, not just us locally, but this is like the global stats for Orlando across all property managers. August, we saw a 2% contraction. We're in the middle of that right now, and we certainly are seeing it hit the fan this week. A lot of openings starting mid-August, so your occupancy is going to be down. In September, we're down 8%, if you can believe that. The lowest of the low continues to sink a little bit lower. Don't have stats on November and December, but here's what I've been told anecdotally. Well, it's not anecdotally, but it's pretty solid fact that November and December are not looking good at all. However, the holidays are looking good. If you're one of those people that goes to your home on the holidays, your November and December is really going to suffer because outside of those peak times when school's out, there's not a whole lot of filling there in November and December this year. Now more than ever, early bird means something again. So we want to try to capture as much every day that goes by that the home is not booked, the reservation loses a little bit of value. So just again, something important to consider. But if your November and December stats aren't good, it means that you're probably staying at your home November and December. That is the time to make your hay in those 2 months. Length of stay, 3 to 4 nights. The 3 to 4 night stay, we're up 2%. The a little bit longer stays, 5 to 7 nights, is down. And your 2 night stays are still around 25%. So you are missing out on some significant booking traffic if you do not have 2 night length of stay gap fills at least turned on. And even if you're somebody who's like, look, I don't want anything less than 4 nights or 5 night stay, you can still consider 3 night gap fills to increase your search volume. So a lot of this is bookings, yes, but we also want to make sure you're showing up on the searches as well. So length of stay, shorter, better for searching, better for people finding your listing. Here's the big change that I was sort of waiting to this video, but this is the big change with Airbnb. In short, this was the last OTA that we were grandfathered into that had low booking fees. Basically, everything's at 15% right now. Booking.com has been there. All of Expedia, which you might see as vacay in your portal, that they've been at 15%. VRBO is 8 or 10%. I can't remember what it is. And Airbnb was less than 5%, and it's going up to 15.5%, the booking fee. So what does this mean for you? This is an important distinction. Guest comes in, they see $100 in rent. What's being done now is a booking fee is being added after that $100 in rent. And Airbnb is saying, oh, well, now we're adding this 13% that the guest was paying before. And now what they're doing is they're basically saying up front, the host is only going to pay that. So where the guest was paying a booking fee and the host was paying a booking fee, the short of the story is that Airbnb is shifting 100% of this responsibility to us now, you. So that $100 in rent that they're paying, that they would have added onto their bill to pay a booking fee, is now 115 and 15.5. That 15.5% is coming out, and now the rent that's passing through, if you have $115 rent, is now being 100. If the guest is paying $100 in rent, 15% will come out of that, just like Booking or Expedia. It's a kick in the teeth here. So if you are wanting more money to come in, you can offset this by increasing rates, about 10%. That's how you're going to get the same amount of payout as before. The problem is now you've just increased the price of your home 10%, whereas before it was shown lower, and then the guest would have some fees at the end, and then they'd say, oh, I don't really like all those fees, so now there's cart abandonment. So again, Airbnb hopes to eliminate cart abandonment because of the booking fee that was originally with the guest, and they're hoping now that this shift to 100% the property manager eliminates more of the cart abandonment. So I hope this makes sense. In short, I think I have it on the next slide. Yeah. Do I? No, I don't. I'm sorry. So in short, what this means is that Airbnb is at 15% booking fee, same as Booking, same as Expedia, and and less than VRBO is going to be the lowest booking fee. So as you know, with us, we don't charge the 15% commission until that booking fee is pulled out. So $100 in rent, booking fee comes out. Now our percentage, it's going to be the same way. But again, the problem now is Airbnb specifically, there's going to be less money coming in unless there's a significant rate change, which we can do, right? So if you just want us to make that change and update your rates 10% across the board, we can. I'd advise not to do that. I'd advise better to get some KPIs and some performance indicators checked in. I specifically asked Airbnb this week. I'd like to see what the numbers look like after this is instituted. So I've got a meeting set up with Airbnb on the phone, and that's set for December, when there's stats and metrics that come in that says how successful this is or is not and what to do. So if you want to sit back and wait, my advice, until I have that meeting in Q4, then I'll have data then on what to do. Suggestions of what to do. As I'm on the damages part, I can't underscore this enough. We get emails, why wasn't this charged to the guest? Really, damages to guests from any short-term rental is a thing of the past. Booking.com has essentially zero coverage. Expedia has zero coverage. Expedia is Vacay Connect, which is hotels.com, and a bunch of other things that Expedia owns. They have no coverage. Same thing with Hopper. VRBO to an extent does. What happens with VRBO is we're the merchant of record, so we get hit on a booking fee and then credit card merchant fees. So that's the booking fee. But if the guest is not a good guest, they're a merchant of record, we can't hit the credit card if they've canceled the credit card. So there's some coverage, but in terms of like catastrophic things and guests who party big time, and we see very, very little of this, very little. But if that's the concern, you're going to want to eliminate VRBO. Now remember, Booking.com, Vacay, Expedia, Vrbo do have massive cancellation fees. So if you're thinking about selling, you want to turn those off. Cancellation fees are absolutely brutal with these guys. Airbnb has interestingly enough become flexible with their cancellation policy, as long as there's like good reason for it. They usually cancel without fees. In some instances, they don't. They do have air cover, but we're seeing that there's this obscure little part in their terms and conditions where they say curtains, linens, towels are not covered under your host protect. So in some instances we go after the guest, in some instances we don't. We try to go after them as much as we can, but 100% the outcome of this is not tied to our documentation. It's not tied to what the guest did. It is the agent who picked it up. And sometimes they'll just say, nope, this isn't covered. Here's why. And then they'll copy and paste this terms and conditions, and then there's no coverage. And then sadly, it's a charge to the owner. So if you are worried about damages in your home, the most frequently damaged item by far, 95 to 98% of our damages are linens. And what linens means is your towels, your sheets, pillows, and apparently curtains are considered linens. But I highly recommend putting something on auto ship to your home for linens, towels. If it's like sheets, send one set of sheets every 6 months or 4 months. Find a lightning deal on Amazon, send them in. I do not recommend sending Amazon towels. They're not high quality at all, and we don't need high quality. Costco, Sam's Club is fine, but send some of those to your home. That's going to 100% be cheaper than us stocking them and running to Walmart or running to Target. There are obviously upcharges and taxes there, and some of you don't pay taxes in the state you live in. So highly recommend you consider having some auto shipment for linens, because Airbnb, they'll cover it a party. And there's things broken, a sofa's broken, a TV's broken. They'll cover that almost 100% of the time. But these smaller ticket items that are just like sand in your bottom, they're just not covering it. So FYI. On another update, the Grand Welcome website we've been off of for a long time because of the incidents of fraud in Central Florida and Orlando. We finally found somebody to partner with that we believe we have found an answer. If you want to be excluded from this, please let me know ASAP. Because if there's fraud in the home and we don't get paid, you don't get paid. This is the price of doing business. What happens in those instances is we do pay the cleaning fee on your behalf. We'll pay to clean up the home, but there's no rent in the instance of fraud. So we've been off it for years. But now that we have found this partner, AutoHost, we are going to vet guests. We've got a very specific vetting system to make sure that they're good guests, to make sure that we're filtering them out. And they very quickly have to submit all their data and their ID and really prove that you are who you say you are. The good thing also about AutoHost is that their coverage in the incident of fraud, their win back is somewhere in the 90% range. So we really feel good about this partnership. We will have direct booking turned back on. We don't think this is going to be a huge motivator, but there are less booking fees through the Grand Welcome website. There are some, obviously, because it costs credit cards. But what Grand Welcome has done is they've shifted the booking fees to the guest instead of us. So the booking fee goes to them. So I do like that, and it is coming back, but thank you for being patient and bearing with us. We are at the doorstep. Rob and the team are working on this now, and we do expect to have this done mid-September. So again, just FYI. Tariffs are still a thing. Not a lot of changes here from the last slide. Again, people are just saying, what do I eliminate? What has to go? And it's travel, it's vacation. Oh man, my head's in the way of this slide, and I don't know how to move my head. I'm sorry. I'll read it to you. 20% of Canadians and UK guests are still parked at home. That's the same. Frankly, I don't miss them. They're difficult guests to work with. They're very, very difficult guests to work with. And here, I can move my head. Oops. And then you can actually read the slide. Sorry about that. Not a perfect science here in Central Florida. The UK guests and the Canadian guests, the ones that are leaving, man, they're difficult to work with. We had somebody, I actually walked this home with the cleaning crew. It was perfect. It was spotless, didn't smell. And the complaints this guy had, it was just out of control. And my team is really, really great when these instances of these guests who are really bad, making sure that they don't sink your home, and they always try to get us like, we'll leave you a positive review if you give us a couple $100. And as soon as they do that, we get review removed from the OTAs. It's blackmail. Like we're not going to be held for ransom, and we do fight for our owners. But these are usually Canadians and people from the UK. I don't know what's going on there. Again, airlines are still your leading indicator of what's going on in the short-term travel industry. Flights are low. It means people aren't traveling. I flew to Charlotte for a soccer game with my son this weekend, and the direct flights from Charlotte to Orlando, I was on the waiting list. both all the planes I was looking at were basically flying back to Orlando half full. No es bueno. We are doing daily monitoring and price labs. This is our key pricing tool. We are monitoring the airlines. Our team is. I will tell you, supply continues to rise in Orlando, and where demand was flat before, demand is lowered in Q3 and Q4. So, not the ideal situation for spiking ADR. If you want to know what's going on with your home, please remember to reach out. I think that's the last slide I've got. Oh, recommendations. Hey, good thing I moved my head. I'd be right in the way of all the recommendations. I continue to get this question. Oh, it's costing me more to take care of my home than to have people in it than not. I don't believe that's true for all of our homeowners. It's maybe $10-15 a day to cool your home max. If you feel like you just have to know what your numbers are, right? What does it cost for your home to sit empty versus full? Crunch the numbers. Please consider RevPAR. We've had this RevPAR conversation before. I have a video around it. That's the king. If you want to know if your home is successful relative to your peers, let me know. We'll benchmark it versus we'll benchmark your RevPAR versus the community that you're in. Early bird, again, this is a must. Consider VRBO, Expedia, eliminating them if you're doing any sort of selling of the home or considering selling. We are now live on a new service called Hopper. We're optimistic Hopper is going to provide more opportunities to branch out, just like Booking.com. A lot of you seen a lot of Booking.com things. They finally got their stuff together. The quality of guests coming from Booking have been pretty good. So even though they don't offer any host protection, knock on wood, we haven't had any massive issues with Booking.com. If you were to last minute guests, make sure the last minute promos are off. In general, I have all last minute promos off. But if you're concerned about it, you can ask me and I can double check with our pricing team to make sure that setting is there. Look at your cancel policy. And again, the upcoming changes, we've added Booking.com, we added Hopper.com. Grand Welcome website's coming back in line. So a lot of good things that are happening here in Central Florida. And we're optimistic and hopeful that 2026 is going to show the stabilization and the march back that was supposed to happen in Q2 this year. So, as always, we appreciate your trust and support, and we look forward to connecting. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.